Hello, welcome back. This week we're going to take a deeper glimpse at what seems on the surface to look like a bit of a flat market. We're going to talk a little bit about the stimulus on the horizon, and just because I feel like I need to, I will also talk a little bit about the GameStop hearing that started here today. My name is Brandon Steele, financial advisor with Mainsail Financial Group. Again, we want to come to you each and every week, kind of bring the market news in a quick, digestible video. So hopefully this is helpful. If so, please do follow us, and we can make sure to bring this to you each and every week, Thursdays at 3. Hopefully you had a good time if you're in Washington State here along with me. Hopefully you had a good time in the snow. I know the puppy had a good time. I mentioned last week I was planning to go to Ocean Shores, but that obviously was canceled, and instead we had a good time kind of jumping around in the snow. She's dead tired this week, so it's been nice. I've been able to work pretty hard and not have to worry about getting her any exercise. So this week has really seemed kind of uneventful. The markets have been kind of flat. There's been some up days, some down days, but if you look over the week in general, it seems like the market has been pretty flat. That said, for about the past week and a half, 2 weeks, if you look a little deeper, it's been interesting kind of watching some of these market swings within the day. You know, there's been a few days where the markets opened really high and very quickly dropped back down, maybe even went negative and kind of ended flat. There's also been days where the market started, I think today actually is a good example, market started opening very low. We saw a bunch of swings within the day, and you know, it ended up down, but not nearly as much as it had started. So it's really interesting to see this. I don't necessarily have concerns about the markets, but you know, a lot of times this can show signs of a little bit of volatility or a little bit of nervousness, I guess, within the markets themselves. So pay attention to what's going on here in the coming weeks. I think that, you know, with everything going on, markets are certainly propped up and may continue to be, but you know, it's interesting to watch those swings and really what's going on in a little more granular level, because you look at the market as a whole and it feels very flat. But the truth is, there's been a lot of swings. There's been a lot of up and down here within that week as well. The other big topic I wanted to touch on is stimulus hopes. So just to kind of keep you guys updated here a little bit on that, you know, this is one of the things that I keep talking a little bit about, potentially propelling the markets as well, is obviously there is potential for a lot more money coming into the system here soon. I think the latest is about $1.4 trillion in total. And I believe they're hoping to get that through by mid-March. So it's been a conversation for a while, obviously has not come to fruition quite yet, but it's certainly something to watch and see if they're able to push that through by the middle of next month there. As we get into some of the data for the week, so last Friday, we had consumer sentiment come out, and consumer sentiment was down a little bit. So, you know, this may tie into some of what we're seeing with those market moves within the day, as maybe investors are getting a little more nervous again. You know, it's hard to say with one data point like that, but it's something to watch for sure. And then moving into this week, we had a short week so far. Markets were closed on Monday. Wednesday, we had retail sales, which was actually a big good number. Retail sales were up 5.3% versus expectations of about 1.2. So for those who do follow us, you'll know that it's jobs, it's income, and it's sales that we're really watching a lot of during this pandemic. So this is a good sign. Hopefully that continues. And maybe as a sign of people getting back out there and things kind of opening back up a little bit too. And then today, of course, Thursday, we had initial jobless claims. Another bad number. Initial jobless claims were at 861,000. Again, I think it was just a little bit less than that last week. It's really not good. We're not seeing this going in the right direction or coming down at all. So hopefully that changes soon. Again, the world is opening back up a bit more now. And so, you know, I think New York is back to indoor dining. California has opened a whole bunch of things back up. So hopefully that means good things for the job market as well. And also today, again, I feel like I need to mention this. There was the GameStop hearing today. For anybody who watches financial news, you probably noticed that was pretty much all that was on. So I didn't want to skip over it. I don't know that there's a whole lot to talk about necessarily there. It certainly doesn't drive the rest of the markets, but just to keep you up to date there. They had the guy that had started the Reddit thread, I forget his name now, but they had him on there. They had the Robinhood CEO, and they had one of the hedge fund managers that was shorting the stock all up and answering questions. So, it's kind of interesting hearing that, but, again, nothing for the broader markets necessarily. And then as we look forward to next week, we've got a lot of home sales. So we've got existing home sales tomorrow, actually on Friday. Next Wednesday, we have new home sales. And then Thursday, we have GDP numbers coming out again here too. So with that, we'll transition to the question of the week. Again, if you have any questions for us, please reach out. We're happy to answer any questions that you have in our kind of weekly updates, and hopefully a great way to help answer anything that you have on your mind. You can email us directly, info@mainsailfg.com. That's info@mainsailfg.com. And this week's question of the week is about special needs considerations. This is actually from somebody that is starting new with us as a client here recently. And they have some, their kids have special needs considerations that we need to be aware of. So I thought this would be really helpful to bring up. When we talk about special needs planning, it is a vast world and it's very, very personalized. So I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but what I do want to share with you is if you have any family members, loved ones, kids, anybody who does have special needs considerations, and especially if they're receiving any state or federal benefits for that, it's important to be cautious in how or if you name them as beneficiaries for your retirement accounts or accounts in general. If they are receiving those benefits and they are given assets, that may affect what is actually given to them from the state or federal level. So again, there's all kinds of ways to kind of prepare for this and put a little thought into it. But I just want to point that out because it's something I ran into here recently and something that can be really important, because a lot of times those kiddos may be relying on those benefits to live. And so obviously if we were to give assets away, that may very quickly change that scenario with good intentions. You may not have necessarily known, but there may be other ways to still get that same impact to the kids without affecting some of those benefits they might be receiving as well. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, biggest things are kind of watching some of the movements within the day of the markets and watching what happens with the stimulus bill on the horizon. So we will see you same place, same time next Thursday at 3 p.m. Thanks as always for joining us. You can definitely reach out for the question of the week here next week, and we will see you then.